Good morning, Rio Grande Elementary third graders. It's good to see you this morning. I want to get started with our lesson for today, which is going to be talking about using the order property of multiplication using equal groups and arrays. So this lesson is in your Envision book, which is lesson 4-3. So we'll be talking about that in a little bit. But let's get started. Remember, what is multiplication? I really want to make sure I stress that you understand what multiplication is. It's the combining of equal groups to find a total number of objects. Remember that if the objects are not equal, for example, if you had 4 plus 3, there wouldn't be a way for you to write a multiplication sentence using equal groups. But if you had 4 plus 4 plus 4, you would have 3 groups of 4. So make sure that you understand that to write a multiplication equation, groups have to have the same amount in each group or in each row. So this is still our standard of I can find the product of whole numbers as the total objects. So let's talk about the understanding of the order property. The order property is when you take the factor, which is your first factor, which is your number of groups, and the second factor, which is the number in each group, and you switch those factors. So in this case, we have 4 groups with 3 cookies in each group, and from there, we can say that we have 4 groups of 3. So that would give us an addition sentence of 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And again, our total cookies would have been 12 total objects, or 12 total. Now, what happens if we switch those factors? So let's say that our first factor is 3 now. That means we have 3 groups of, and that's the number in each group is going to be 4, and that factor is going to tell us the number in each group. So now we have 3 groups of 4. So we can say 3 times 4, and our addition sentence would be 4 plus 4 plus 4. Now we still are going to add and still get the same total of cookies in this particular case. So that's using equal groups. So switching the factors changes the picture or the model of our multiplication fact, but does not change the product or the total. So let's look at the order property using arrays. So again, what is an array? We need to know an array is a group of objects arranged or set up in rows, which is like a line, going side to side, and columns. And each row is going to have an equal number of objects. So remember, rows go from side to side. And so if we have a row of 1, group of 3, another row has a group of 3, another row has a group of 3, and another row has a group of 3. We have 4 rows, and we have rows of 3 in each row. So again, we'd have 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. And as an addition sentence, we can use our multiplication to write an addition sentence as 3 plus 3 plus 3 plus 3. So I have 4 groups of 3, or 4 threes. And when I add those 4 threes together, or 4 groups of 3, I get a total of 12. So what happens whenever I switch my factors? So now I have 3 rows. I have my 3 rows, but this time I have rows of 4. There's going to be 4 in each row. So now I have 4 in each row, and I have 4 plus 4 plus 4 now. But again, all I'm doing is turning that array from here and onto its side. But again, remember that it does not change the addition sentence, or it does change the addition sentence, but it does not change the product of what we are going to get. So we have 4 plus 4, which is 8, and 4 more, which would be 12. So let's take a look at another example. So if I had 2 rows, there's my 2 rows, and I wanted to have 6 objects in each row, I could say that I have 2 rows of 6. So there's my 6 objects in my 2 rows. When I write an addition sentence, that's going to be 6 circles from the first row, 6 circles from the second row. So now that's going to give us our 12 objects, because 6 plus 6 is 12. But now, if we take a look at how we would rotate that, now we don't have 2 rows of 6. Now we have 6 rows of 2. So all we've done is rotated that array from side to side to top to bottom. And now we can say our first factor is going to be 6 rows of 2. And when we look at an addition sentence to go with that, we would have 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, which is still going to give us our 12 objects because our total hasn't changed. It's just how the circles have been arranged, have been changed. So let's move on to our assignment. And on our assignment, we're going to have our Hardback and Visions book. And we are going to talk about more on the commutative property or order property on page 104 and 105. And I will get you started on that lesson with a short video startup. And I will see you this afternoon during our math lesson meeting. Have a great morning.